Stephen Edgington here from Westmonster, and I am here with the Brexit bus. The Leave Means Leave campaign is going around the country. We're here in Birmingham, and Nigel Farage, two Conservative MPs, a Labour MP and someone from Labour Leave is speaking. Now they're going to speak to an audience of thousands here in Birmingham about why they think that Brexit is being betrayed by Theresa May and with the Chequers plan, because I don't think the mood here in Birmingham is very happy.
That I want to stand up for Brexit, that we need to chuck Chequers, and that leave means leave. Doesn't matter where you come from, this issue of whether we get Brexit delivered is bigger than party politics. It's the most important political issue of our country. Make sure you are direct and firm. You will never vote for them again unless they deliver the Brexit that you voted for. Whether you like Mrs May or not, no unelected bureaucrat should treat a British Prime Minister in the way she should treat it. What we're doing here with Leave Means Leave is we are remobilising the people's army of this country that gave us victory in Brexit and will never rest until we become an independent, self-governing, proud, united kingdom. Thank you.
Time for Theresa May to go.
Well, it's not about who leads the party or who's Prime Minister, it's about the policy. I want someone who absolutely wants to deliver Brexit. That's what the British people voted for. It doesn't matter who it is, but they've got to deliver it, and at the moment we are stalled. So the next few weeks we've got to press, and we want people to go out across the country to tell people, let's have a real Brexit.
She told Andrew Marr this morning that she does believe in Brexit. Do you believe her?
Well, the government's policy absolutely is to end the free movement of people, not to give billions and billions of pounds each and every year to the EU, make our own laws in our own country judged by our own judges.
But do you believe her?
But absolutely, that's right. But unfortunately, the policy she's locked into doesn't deliver that. So what we need is to persuade her to do a free trade deal which gives us all those benefits, and that's what I think we should do.
So she doesn't believe in Brexit then?
Oh no, she believes in Brexit. The Chequers policy, well, I'm afraid I don't think that works.
Okay, so Richard, you are the founder of Leave Means Leave. What's the aim of this organisation?
Well, we've got to make sure that Brexit means Brexit. Leave does mean leave, and that Brexit doesn't mean remain, because at the moment the Chequers plan is the worst of all worlds. It's actually worse, unbelievably, than staying in the European Union. How could we sign up to something with a common rule book where we've got no say, and where we keep paying, and where we essentially pay tens of billions of pounds to be in a worse state? I mean, it beggars belief. It could only be invented by someone who's trying to delay, deny or destroy Brexit.
What do you think about people's calls for a second referendum or a people's vote?
As an audience member said today, which I thought was a great line, it's not a second referendum, it's a loser's referendum. It's people who lost in the first referendum and they just want to overturn the democratic vote of the people, which is unacceptable, and I will fight to the death to stop this happening.
So let's say Chequers does, go through and Theresa May finally, goes past the EU and it comes to a vote in Parliament. Are you then going to vote against Chequers?
I'll vote against Chequers, without a doubt, yes. No problem about voting against Chequers.
And do you call on your colleagues to do the same?
I think to my colleagues, if you truly believe in Brexit, then vote, let's chuck Chequers. Yep. I mean, I'm not going to obviously persuade Remain colleagues, am I?
Labour, we had a Labour MP tonight. Yeah. We also had someone from Labour Leave.
Yeah.
Do you believe in working cross-party on this issue? Do you think it's more important than party politics?
Oh, completely. I mean, when I was involved in the Leave campaign during the referendum, I was the MP coordinator for the whole 52 constituencies in Yorkshire, and we worked cross-party on that, and I think that's very important.
Peter Bone obviously said in his speech with you that you should have actually been running the Brexit negotiations from the start. Now, what do you think about that?
Well, I volunteered. I did tell them I'd like to help, but they didn't want me because petty tribal politics gets in the way. There you go. Not much I can do about that.
Do you think if someone did offer you a lordship now, you would take it?
Well, I'm not interested in a lordship. I mean, what I would like to do is try and help the Brexit process, and that is what would matter.
So there's a lot of speculation about Theresa May's leadership. Do you think that Boris Johnson would be a much better Prime Minister than Theresa May?
Well, I think Boris Johnson blew it back in July. I mean, there was the moment. Chequers, country angry, resignation of the Brexit Secretary Secretary, the Foreign Secretary, his resignation speech in the House of Commons. How much more of a stage do you want than all of the things that he had there? And he dropped the ball.
Why do you think that is?
Indecision. Lack of risk-taking.
Do you think he really is a leaver?
Yes. I do actually. Yeah, I do. I mean, he may well have toyed around, and he may well have joined. I mean, in the longer term of this, he may well have joined at 10 minutes to midnight. But hey, he did, and I think he does now believe in it. He's now very committed to it. No, I think that is genuine with Boris, but his indecision is a problem. If he'd gone for it in July, whether he'd won or lost, at least we'd have had a chance of a new Prime Minister by now, one who actually believed in Brexit. Instead, what have we got? Checkers, half in, half out.
So who would be your ideal Tory leader?
Oh, we'll have to see who emerges. I mean, I'm not saying Boris wouldn't be. You know, I mean, anyone that... do you know what? Anyone that believes in Brexit. Anyone. But this woman who clearly doesn't.
I mean, she said this morning on Andrew Marr that she does.
Oh, please. She keeps standing up and they wind her up at the back in the mornings, you know. We'll take back control of our money, our laws and our borders. And then does the opposite. Don't believe a word she says.
Is this the worst Prime Minister in a generation?
No, I mean, in my lifetime. And that's 2 generations. I think she's absolutely hopeless.
So, Brendan Chilton, now, obviously you run an organisation called Labour Leave. Now, you're from the Labour Party, and yet you vote for Brexit. Now, for a lot of people in the country, this is some kind of a surprising thing.
Well, actually, to be a Brexiteer and to be a member of the Labour Party is entirely compatible. And indeed, the Labour Party was the Eurosceptic party of this country virtually throughout its whole existence, right up until about 1989. And so we're just carrying on a historic tradition. And there are millions of Labour voters out there that supported Leave. And indeed, our own leader, right up until the referendum in 2016, was an ardent Brexiteer.
So a lot of people say that Theresa May's Chequers plan is a betrayal. Do you think that the leaders of the Labour Party, the leadership's plan for Brexit is also a betrayal?
Of the Labour Party?
Well, Brexit.
Well, I think the tests that Sir Keir Starmer has set out are not compatible with leaving the European Union. You cannot have exactly the same benefits as being in the European Union if you leave the European Union. That's just a given. That's not something we should be frightened of, because actually World Trade Organization terms are not scary. Tariffs are very, very low. Yeah. I think the Labour leadership need to be very conscious of the fact that there are dozens of constituencies in the Midlands that we only just held on to because we committed to accepting the outcome of the referendum. And the majority of the seats we need to win at the next general election are Leave seats, where a majority voted Leave. And by going down a second referendum route, we are just simply alienating those voters.
I'm here to show my support for Brexit, and that young people, everyone thinks we're all Jeremy Corbyn supporting Remainers, but it's just not true. We need a Brexit that works for young people.
Do you think Brexit will work for young people?
Not if Chequers is followed through. Theresa May's not doing a very good job, so if it carries on, no, probably not.
Chequers is the worst of all worlds, and I think it's deliberately designed in order to be as unappealing as possible so that they can set up a precedent for a second referendum.
Is it time for Theresa May to resign?
She should have gone long ago, yeah. She should never have been put in the position in the first place, and I think that she was put there simply because of the fact that she's a Remainer.
A majority of young people supported Remain.
Yes.
A lot of them support a second referendum. What do you think about that?
It is called the second referendum. Let's make sure it is called that. My generation, I'm afraid, at the time I was only 16 at the vote, so we were unable to vote. But it's more naivety when it comes to my generation. Yes, they may have been led astray by the politicians, and don't be wrong, some had very, very valid reasons for voting Remain. But what I do want to reiterate is they dismissed anyone who voted Brexit as either a played-out racist, xenophobe, anything they could do. Anyone who voted Leave in my generation, as I'm sure you'll very much know, was very much discredited and not listened to. But it's being very prevalent now that young people are getting back on the Brexit bus, as it would be.
Do you think Theresa May does believe in Brexit?
No, I think she's a Remainer at heart. I think what she's done ever since she came to power has pretty much proved that. Talks cheap. She's said that she's going to do a lot of things and she hasn't. So, short answer, no.
Who would you prefer to be running the Brexit negotiations?
Jacob Rees-Mogg. Every step of the way.
Leave means leave.
Yes. And why are you here today?
Because we think the government are letting us down. We want to leave, we want it done, and we don't think they're speaking for the people, basically.
Some politicians say that Leave voters didn't know what they were voting for, or maybe you were racist, or maybe you know, it's all about immigration and a very negative vote. What do you think about that?
Those sorts of insults brought more votes on the day than any other thing.
Of leave, yeah.
And I must say, when we were campaigning, all the bad feeling and the aggression came from Remainers, and that was very noticeable. And I just want it over and done with. And I've also said that if this government lets us down and betrays us, even with the Chequers deal, I will not vote Conservative. End of.
Thank you so much for watching this Westmonster report from Leave Means Leave in Birmingham. Now, there has been an outstanding response to Nigel Farage and several other speakers from lots of different political parties, including Labour and the Conservatives, from the audience here tonight. People are outraged by this Chequers plan. They feel it is a betrayal, and they are saying they're never going to vote Conservative or Labour again if both parties refuse to uphold the Brexit referendum. So click the link in the description so you can help Westmonster continue doing what we're doing and get outside the bubble.